Good morning, Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1FM, and 990 AM, WEEB. Hey, welcome back to the most listened to program in all of the Sand Hills. It is time once again for Mornings with the Leader Man. I am Steve Leader Adams, along with retired Marine Colonel Jeff Drummond. Good morning, Colonel.
All right, people, listen up. You need to get out of the rack, put on a big pot of coffee, rinse out your favorite coffee cup, and get a pencil and paper because you're going to want to take notes. John Zumwalt is on a forced march with a bag full of, well, actually he's driving, but he's got a bag full of information that you need to take care and listen to because you're going to want to have questions to ask of your county commissioners, of the school board, of the school administration, and you're going to want to ask them soon.
And you're going to want to really look differently at your superintendent and your director of construction.
Not only them.
Now, there'll be some others, but that'll be at 8:30 this morning, so get ready. All right. Don't quit on me yet. General, give me... back it up, Steve. Back it up. There we go. Had to get it before it flipped. All right, now with the background music in place. Don't forget, of course, this program being heard and seen around the world on a live video stream. That's available at talk973.com. Top middle of the page is the link. If you're on your mobile device, YouTube will do it. Just put Mornings with the Leader Man in the search. If you're on your mobile device and want to listen to just our audio, we suggest many streaming services like TuneIn, iTunes, Streamer. Just put WEEB in your streaming service. And if you're on the website, it's available in the upper right-hand corner of every page at talk973.com, where the icon says Listen Live on the air. Click that once you're listening that quick. Some of those listening this morning include, got a lot this morning, 48,000. Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Philadelphia is online. They want to hear about this school mess. Renos Valley, New Mexico. Let's see. I got to back it now. I'm going to back it up one more time. There we go. Where else we got? Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. Moose Lake, Canada is with us again this morning. Indian Trail, North Carolina.
Indian Trail.
Chatham, Virginia. You know where that is?
Yes.
Okay. Well, they're listening. Saudi Arabia is online to get some of this wisdom. I kid you not. Kent, Washington. Walpaha, Hawaii.
Never been there.
No, but I bet it's good looking. A lot of Ottawa, Canada online. Wow. Must have a naval a service base up there. Anyway, thanks for all you tuning in this morning.
Ottawa's got, there's a military.
Weather for us today here in the Sand Hills area. Despite the rain, although that's supposed to start up here shortly. It's going to be mostly cloudy, high of 72. And then tonight, more showers, a low of 65. Hopefully, it won't be an all-day washout. Because the humidity's way down. It would be enjoyable to be outside with no summer sun beating down on you. Thursday, partly cloudy, high of 83. As the dew points start shifting upwards as our winds start to come back from the southwest. Friday, high of 79, still tolerable dew points. Same for Saturday, 84. Sunday, not so much. Then we get the full force of the humidity. It'll be pushing the dew points back into the 70s. It'll be partly cloudy, isolated thunderstorms, high of 88. Monday, more of the same. Right now around the Sand Hills, winds are north-northeast at 3, visibility 10 statute miles, pressure is 30-12, dew points 56. Let's bottle that and hold that for the summer.
You're too happy about that.
Yeah, well, it just makes all of it. Remember Monday, when it was sticky and yucky, no matter where you were, you could stand still and tolerate it, but you move and nothing will evaporate off your skin. Humidity 80%, and it's cloudy and 62 right now. Let me refresh that, make sure. Wasn't it nice not to have your air conditioner cycling on every 5 minutes last night?
Mine doesn't.
Mine does. With a fan in my face. So I sleep good. I do sleep good. That's because I have to be so happy and cheerful in the morning.
Yes, I've noticed. It works.
And try to get the Colonel in the good mood. Jeff knows me off mic also. That's when I get release my emotions on equipment, stuff like that, or on myself for forgetting something. A minute ago, I have a portable keyboard here with a red light on it that controls the main computer here, and the red light flashed and says, I need new batteries. And so I stood up to go get those new batteries, and all of a sudden, senior moment, I went, what did I know I got to do something. What was it?
Yeah, you lost it that quick. I was impressed.
Yeah.
Putting your hands on the desk to push out of the seat. To standing up, you forgot.
Yeah, there's one synapse in there that did not fire when it was supposed to. All right, 7:38. And in all seriousness, the extended Zoom Alt Zone today is going to put all the facts in perspective. There'll be a slew of new facts about this school board debacle and how we're getting literally shafted.
I don't know if he has enough time to cover it all.
Yeah. If not, we'll invite him back on Thursday and Friday till we get it all covered.
Well, yeah, we'll be covering all of it.
Yeah, and we'll be reminding you throughout the week with editorials based off of these facts so that everyone will hear it eventually. Because something's got to be done. Millions of your dollars being taken away. I'll give you a perfect example. It was in the news today that the school board, my notes from, there it is. The school board, where was I looking at it? About this new elementary school, about the budget this year. And how they need $1.5 million right now for operations. Most of that going to the extra school they're going to keep up. I don't understand why that is, but they're doing it. I'd be hustling up people to get to school moved. That's what I do. Anyway, regardless of that, they got to have $1.5 million right now. And they wanted from the county commissioners to come forth and put up that $1.5 million when the $1.5 million is sitting right there at their fingertips. Yep. It's called that bid bond that they didn't collect on, which is due the taxpayer.
Yeah.
That money belongs to us, and they're letting these people off the hook. Why? It's the underhanded patting of the back routine instead of business is business.
Yeah, I wonder how much money might be available had they actually taken the low bidder for the architect.
Yeah.
But we don't know who the low bidder was because we don't have any notes, transcripts, or minutes of that selection process.
And as you pointed out in your editorial, that the low bidder had a little friend inside the school system named John Barath, who used to work there. Out of 14 bidders, they get it. Yeah. And there's some other things we're going to reveal about that this morning that are going to blow your socks off. So be here at 8:30. John's done all the digging, so we'll let John do all the presenting of the information he's uncovered. But it's mind-boggling.
Yeah, you can listen to any of these. You know, if you don't hear it, you're riding down the road and you only catch a piece of it. You know, you can get these on the website. I think.
Yeah, today's John Extended Zoom Alt Zone will be posted up on the Zoom Alt Zone page.
But you also have links to all of these WEEBs, all these editorials also.
No, but I'll get them up there.
Yeah, I think it's important to put them all up there.
Yeah, I do too. So I'll get them all up.
You can listen to them, take some notes so that you can develop your questions so that when you see one of these individuals walking around, you can go over there and ask them, what in the hell is going on here?
Yeah. Well, I'll get Dorothy to put them up on the website today so you'll be able to hear them at your leisure. Or if you got a friend, say, you won't believe this. Come here and listen to this. And 2 minutes later, your friend's jaw will drop on the floor.
Yeah, well, you know, and this all gets into all these tax raises we're going to have here And a lot of these wine and cheese party types here, they don't care if it's an extra couple of $100 in property taxes or whatever. But all over the north end of the county, south end, and other areas in the county here, $400 or $500, which is already going to happen to you in your various taxes. That means a lot. That means a heck of a lot to these people. And, these individuals making these decisions, they don't care. It doesn't matter to them.
Yeah, and also the, oh, man. I'll quit having senior moments this morning. It was a good moment, too.
You need to get you a pen and pencil.
I do. I really do. To write down. I think of things while other people are talking, and then I forget what was I going to say. Oh, yeah, I know now. All right. The school board's asking for $1.5 million from the commissioners because they say they have a shortfall. Well, that $1.5 million is actually would cost you $3 million. And here's why. The $1.5 million that they won't cash in that bid bond on, right, that's due us by law, is due us. No question about it. You had to withdraw a bid within 3 days. They took 7. And so it's tough. You should have withdrawn it if you're going to withdraw it. And then only for a mathematical error, which they didn't even talk about, for 13 days. That suddenly appeared. So you got that $1.5 million plus the $1.5 million you need now to replace it. So that's $3 million.
Right. Yeah, potentially. Yep.
Yep. That's that they want to goof us out of. So.
Yeah. And the sad thing is, if you go to Horry County, Horry, South Carolina, which is the Myrtle Beach area, and you do a computer search on Horry County School Board and SFLA, first floor, etc., you'll come up with a series of articles that were produced early March this year. And
by a real newspaper.
Yeah, by a real newspaper and a real, and also a television station down there that are onto this. And the parallels between what's going on down there and what's going on up here are just uncanny.
And it's the underhandedness that was going on.
And it's the same people. It's this SFLA, first floor, who had worked with individuals in the school administration down there to underhandedly usurp the bid process. And, I wonder if that happened up here, but we don't have notes. And, like I said earlier, the school board down there found out about it, and they said, oh, hey, here's all the documentation. More than 10,000 pieces of documentation they provided to state investigators to find out what's going on. And, our school board, they can't seem to find any emails or texts or whatever.
They found 150 pieces of worthless stuff.
Amazing.
Say, look, we're complying with your FOIA. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, the fireworks start at 8:30.
Yep.
And we'll keep providing it for you. All right, 7:46, 46 past the hour. Let's get you in a lighter mood before we get to there. How much do you spend buying plastic bottles of filtered drinking water?
None. I don't buy.
If you're buying this stuff overseas,
I steal them out of your closet on the way out the door.
Well, they're trunk of my car. Well, here's a simple alternative. It saves time, money, and it's already filtered. Come on, play it.
Tired of unloading and lugging around giant pallets of bottled water when you come home from the store? Well, now there's an easier way. It's tap water. Yes, tap water. Delicious, thirst-quenching water that flows right out of your tap. Just pour it in a cup, a glass, a fitness bottle, and you're ready to go. Need it colder? Just add ice. That I bet you made out of tap water. Make a splash in the summer and save some cash with tap water.
I don't know about this brown tap water around here.
Yeah, well, see, here's the thing. A lot of that bottled water you're buying in the stores is tap water. So if you think you're getting filtered or distilled or whatever, make sure you read the label and make sure what you're buying, because a lot of that stuff, you got some nefarious individuals just opening up the tap and filling those bottles, and that's what you're getting. I use a distillery, and I'll tell you, after I distill a gallon of water or two, what's left in the bottom of that boiler is just enough to turn your stomach, and that's right out of the tap.
Yeah, it's kind of like the brittle water.
Try it. You'll love it.
Well, Father's Day is approaching. Before we get into all our help for Father's Day, the lawyers will require me to run this right quick.
Happy Father's Day!
By the word happy, we in no way mean joyous, celebratory, or jovial, for if said father feels sad, depressed, or greatly underappreciated, it is his right to feel as such. Also, this once a year or said day in no way insinuates or represents a full year of said father value, for said one day does in no way deem full worth and is never meant to be more represented or celebratory than previous Mother's Day. If said father feels as such, remember that said mother feels she is far more greater in scope and value than said father. Children of said father are not expected to be as emotional towards said Father's Day and not expected to present gifts greater to said father than previous mother on Mother's Day. Again, by if any such words or said message in any way fall short of appreciative communication from family in any way, again, we say tough, suck it up, and act like you enjoy it. This Happy Father's Day message void where prohibited by law.
You know, that's going to be the next attack by the, whatever the knuckleheads are going to. Hey, it shouldn't be Mother's and Father's Day. It should be Parents' Day or something like that, because they're trying to destroy the family groupings anyway.
Right.
2 dads, 2 moms, 2 whatevers, or 3 whatevers maybe in some cases. And that'll be the next thing they're going to go after, if they haven't already. They might have, and I might have missed it, but it's coming.
Well, we have all these illegals coming into our country left and right, and the government, all they can do is put them on a bus and dump them off somewhere. And, there, in all these illegals are plenty of fathers with kids, and they want to, they have, the kids want to know how to shop for their fathers.
Okay.
When they have nothing. And who do these little vatos turn to when they need timely holiday-related advice? Well, they pick up the phone. They call the Eastside Holiday Hotline. Today's tip is the best way to get some quality father-son bonding this Father's Day.
Orale, thank you for calling the Eastside Holiday Hotline. I'm Little Puppet. Father's Day is Sunday, Holmes, and father and son bonding is very important, ese. Oye, let me introduce you to Hector. He's apparently one of my kids, Holmes.
What's up, Holmes?
Nice to meet you, Holmes.
Nice to meet you too, Vato.
Hector is 10, but this is the first day we actually met, Holmes. Unfortunately, the judge said I have to spend time with him, and I was like, whatever, Holmes. Anyway, today I'm going to teach him what every 10-year-old should know, ese. How to hold a gun, Holmes. Oye, Hector, put out your hand, ese.
Okay.
Now, Vato, hold it in your hand like...
Give me your chain, fool.
Orale, what the Holmes? You just shot me, ese.
Now,
Hey, I'm your dad, Holmes. Oh, Holmes, Orale, okay, Holmes, okay, stop here. Just take it, ese, take it.
Thanks, Holmes. See you next week, bitch.
Orale. My 10-year-old son just jacked me for my chain, Holmes. I'm so proud, ese. I'm going to cry, Holmes. That was like the most touching thing ever. I love you, Hector. Orale. Thank you for calling the Eastside Holiday Hotline. A rato.
Okay.
Where's that from, L.A.? or? No, hey, I'll tell you what. If you really want to do something, you should go out on a Tuesday night and try Philly and Colt's Pizza Night. We went out there last night. It was great.
All that food is really great. Like I've told you my French fried chicken story, where you want to reorder just to eat the skin. It tastes so good.
Well, they had a really nice pizza there last night, and nice handmade, right on the spot, or at least right there at Philly and Colt's, handmade crust, etc. So yeah, give that a shot. That was good.
I'll say one thing: Chef Karen knows how to cook, and enjoys it. All right, today's Hump Day, of course. Have a new Hump Day song for you, appropriately named Hump Day Dance.
All right, stop what you're doing. Even if commuting, here's a song about Wednesday, hump day. Rainy or sunny, you go to work to make money. See, today is Wednesday's what it happens to be, so gather round. Don't you be wearing no frown, you're loving the sound of this hump day get down. Any work that you got, put it right up on the shelf, and let's now enjoy yourself and celebrate Wednesday. So move your hump now this way and that way. Come on and jiggle those pants, come and take a chance, and let's do the hump day dance. The hump day dance, here's your chance to do the hump day. Hump day. Oh, it's Wednesday.
Okay. Well, two idiots were caught on camera on Sunday trying to break into a store in Daytona Beach that sells spy equipment. And there were roughly 40 cameras running in the store. They tried to smash the front window with a hammer, but couldn't get in because the owner paid extra for special glass that would withstand a hurricane. There we go.
56 full-on blows with that hammer. You can see almost all the different strikes, but I can push this all day long, and it's not going anywhere. It was a great purchase. They're putting cameras in everything nowadays. There's about 40 different cameras running. I believe they had been in my store the week before, so we have video of that. Yeah, we're not dealing with mental giants here.
That's like saying, hey, let's break into the police station. That would be smart.
There is a great video of a guy trying to break into a store, break a glass window, and he throws a big rock at it. And, of course, it's the same thing. It's, ballistic glass, and it comes back and hits him in the head and knocks him out.
Instant karma.
God, help me.
And I've seen video of guys who have robbed a store, and the clerk already locked the doors, and they try to get out, and they can't.
Several of those out there, yeah, those are good ones too.
All right, let's see how much time we got. Okay, 34-year-old woman in Scotland recently got stuck in her cousin's little Tykes toy car. After about an hour, her dad had to saw through the toy with a bread knife. And her friends couldn't stop laughing. Here's a little bit of it.
I'm stuck. Help.
You better get out there. You've got a bit of flexibility.
What do you win? I am really stuck. Can you help me?
You get that part. But here's the interesting part. We had to cut a bunch of the video because it was so long. Here's a little clip from the beginning where their accents are so thick. We're talking about Scotland here.
Yep.
You can't even tell what they're saying. See if you can.
No, Leah, because you just videoed on Facebook. I'm literally stuck.
I promise you, I swear down, I won't do that to you.
Yeah, well.
It's somebody turning the record backwards.
Yeah, it might have been, yeah. Yeah, they're probably from Glasgow.
And there's a new clothing trend where the clothes don't have to be washed because they're made out of a special fiber. So you can keep wearing them for weeks or even months without smelling. The idea is to cut down on laundry and energy use, to travel light, and the owner is one of the promo brags about. And the owner in one of the promo, okay, should be a comma, brags about how he's been wearing the same shirt, socks, and underwear for 46 days in a row.
Our clothes never smell, and they stay clean and fresh, even if you wear them every single day. In fact, I've been wearing this shirt here for 46 days in a row. Same with the socks and underwear. Now, I know what you're thinking, but these clothes are just as clean and fresh as the first day I put them on. That's right, over a month of putting these clothes through everything. From wearing them daily to
Yeah.
And that's why there's a 10-foot circle of exclusion around them.
Yeah.
Nobody's standing next to them.
You don't feel fresh, though.
Right.
I don't care what he says. All right.
What's the name of that company? I got to look that up.
I'll give you the link.
Yeah.
A taxi company in Australia fired a driver the other day for faking a medical episode to get out of a short fare. He picked up a woman at the airport, then stopped the ride and got out because he wanted a bigger fare. And then he started clutching his chest and saying he couldn't drive. but he'd already told her why he was really stopping the ride. And she filmed him. Here's a little bit of that.
I'm not driving. My condition is not well.
Yes, but you just dropped me in the middle of nowhere.
If I make the accident, who's responsible?
No. You're a liar. You said you wanted to turn the meter off because you wanted a bigger fare. You said you wanted a larger fare than the airport to Annandale. Oh, Oscar Award goes to you.
And then the guy turned to her and said,
I've never had pains like this before. Oh, this is the worst one I ever had, son. Oh, it's the worst one. This is a big one. I'm dying. You hear that, Elizabeth? I'm coming to join you, honey.
Sanford and Son, of course. And an 8-year-old boy in Ohio visited North Carolina last week and took a giant inflatable unicorn to the beach. But a wave took the float out, and the unicorn's head acted like a sail, and he was quickly a half a mile out into the Atlantic. Luckily, the kid stayed on the float and didn't try to swim back, and the rescuers reached him quickly. Here's the kid, the rescuer, and mom.
I was really scared and thinking like I might die.
All right, that guy's all chilled up, I can tell. So
yeah,
we got a break for the latest news, sports, and weather. And when we come back, the extended Zoom Walk Zone you do not want to miss.
We have cooler temperatures on tap for today. Highs getting into the mid-70s. We're likely to stay socked under the clouds with showers working their way in from the south, lifting to the north by this afternoon. Temperatures for tonight will fall into the mid-60s, and we'll get a break from the rain then. More rain showers will be possible for the first half of the day on Thursday. Highs will be warmer, though, in the mid-80s by the afternoon. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Broadcasting from the top of the North Carolina Sand Hills, 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM, WEEB, Southern Pines, Pinehurst, Aberdeen.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Tear gas fills the air outside Hong Kong's legislative building as thousands of protesters fill the streets, battling with riot police who fired rubber bullets and turned water cannon on the demonstrators.
Almost all of those out today are young and wearing face masks. This is not a sanctioned protest, and they fear retaliation or even prosecution. Since early this morning, they have surrounded the Legislative Council building, blocking all access and preventing legislators from getting in. Their aim is to stop any debate of the controversial bill that would allow people from here to be sent to China if they're accused of crimes there.
The BBC's Rupert Wingfield-Hayes in Hong Kong. President Trump not exactly thrilled that Congress has subpoenaed his eldest son to meet with lawmakers about the Russia probe.
When he discussed the subpoena last month, the president said he believed that Donald Trump Jr. was being treated poorly. He said that his son already testified over 20 hours and that it seemed very unfair to have him return for more questions. The Republican chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee issued the subpoena, which drew criticism from some fellow GOP colleagues.
White House correspondent Greg Clugston. A second person linked to Sunday's shooting of former Red Sox star David Ortiz has been arrested.
While there's no public indication the latest man arrested is the suspected shooter, a spokeswoman for the National Prosecutor's Office in the Dominican Republic gave no further details. Ortiz, who is now recovering from exploratory surgery in Boston, following surgery to remove his gallbladder and part of his intestine by Dominican doctors, is said to be resting comfortably but remains in intensive care at Massachusetts General Hospital.
That's correspondent Matt Small. Stock futures in the red this morning on Wall Street. Right now, Dow futures down about 84 points. NASDAQ futures off 35. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Okay, first time we read this commercial, he got one, so I had to get one.
And we are both in love with this product.
The glass chair mat by Vitraza. They're unbelievable.
You know that junky plastic chair mat under your office chair or at home? Piece of garbage.
It's the ugliest thing in your office.
Vitraza glass chair mats are beautiful.
Durable.
Each one will support over 1,000 pounds, so it'll even hold me. They've got a lifetime warranty, and the way you feel rolling over smooth glass instead of cheap, crackly plastic, it's like working in $1 million office. office. And it's your office.
And we got to mention this. Shipping is absolutely free.
Absolutely. Lifetime warranty, scratch-resistant, stylish Vitraza glass chair mats.
You can't get them at the Office Superstore. You got to order them direct at vitraza.com/life. That's V as in value, ITRAZZA, vitraza.com/life. You'll want to remember that website. There's a discount code waiting for you for 10% off. Only at vitraza.com/life.
A drug maker whose top executives are facing possible jail time for the opioid crisis has filed for bankruptcy protection.
Last week, Arizona-based opioid manufacturer Incest Therapeutics agreed to pay $225 million to settle federal, criminal, and civil charges. Now the company has filed for bankruptcy protection. Company founder John Kapoor and 4 other former executives were convicted of running a bribery scheme to get doctors to prescribe its highly addictive fentanyl spray. The executives face 20-year prison terms, although they're challenging their convictions. In its filing, the company says it plans to sell all its assets and address its legal liabilities. I'm Jennifer King.
The Philippine Defense Secretary says an anchored Filipino fishing boat has sunk in the disputed South China Sea after being hit by a suspected Chinese vessel, which then abandoned the 22 Filipino crewmen. The Philippine military chief calling for an investigation of the incident. News and analysis at townhall.com. President Trump says the administration is considering special protections for thousands of Venezuelans who have fled to the U.S. amid ongoing unrest in their homeland.
Calling the situation a horrible thing that's been brewing for a long time, President Trump says his administration is seriously looking at granting Venezuelans temporary protected status. That's given to people from countries hit by natural disasters or war, allowing them to remain in the U.S. until the situation in their home country improves. The once wealthy oil nation is facing severe shortages of basic goods and hyperinflation. 2 congressional panels have advanced legislation granting those protections to Venezuelans, but until now, those bills appeared in conflict with Trump's tough immigration stance. Ben Thomas, Washington.
Both of them in Iowa yesterday, Democrat Joe Biden and President Trump exchanging verbal jabs in possible 2020 election preview. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hello, I'm John Zumwalt. Once and for all, we're going to settle this thing for you. Wednesday morning at 8:30, I'm going to lay out the case for the extremely questionable business practice going on at our schools. When all this started, I told them, I don't believe all of you are involved. Just don't let yourself be caught up in the cover-up. Well, no matter what their motives, there appears to be a cover-up occurring. If nothing else, just the school's refusal to comment publicly on all the issues that have been raised about their way they're doing business with SFLA is beyond concerning. John Barath and Bob Grimacy, Wednesday morning, I'm going to unravel the evidence for what I believe, and what I believe is that you're costing Moore County taxpayers millions and millions of dollars because of the way the contracts with SFLA and others are handled. School board, commissioners, citizens, pathetic pilot, everyone, please listen Wednesday morning live at 8:30. You're going to be furious when you find out the facts.
Aberdeen Prescription Shop is one of the best independent pharmacies. Despite nearby chain stores, customers prefer Aberdeen Prescription Shop. Personal service, drive-through window, and free delivery. All major insurance is accepted, including TRICARE. Order your prescriptions online at AberdeenRxShop.com and click on mobile for the free app or call 944-1313. Aberdeen Prescription Shop at the Town and Country Shopping Center on US 1.
Just what the doctor ordered.
7 days a week, we're on the job. John Cole's Plumbing Professionals. Fast, friendly, quality service. You know we can do it all. We can do it all. Don't just call a plumber. Call a professional. John Cole's Plumbing Professionals.
At John Cole Plumbing, plumbing is what they do. That's why they are plumbing professionals. Plumbing all day, every day, with quality, honest service for you. Don't just call a plumber, call a professional. 910-639-4933. 639-4933.
Don't just call a plumber. Call a professional. John Cole's Plumbing Professionals.
Wait
your locally owned Benjamin Moore retailer. We're your store for quality with brilliant and durable paints in a variety of sheens and thousands of colors. We're your store for service with one-on-one advice for contractors and homeowners. We're your local experts, and we're here to help you with all your painting projects. Benjamin Moore, paint like no other. Genuine Benjamin Moore paint. Exclusively at JB Short Carpet 1. JB Short Carpet 1 on Highway 1 North between Southern Pines and Bass. Or on the web at shortcarpet1.com.
NCN News. I'm Mike Rayleigh. Supporters of a bill banning the use of handheld cell phones and other wireless devices while driving are hoping the Senate will move forward now that the House has passed the bill. At a press conference at the General Assembly, State Senator Vicky Sawyer says there is some tangible evidence that such a ban would make roads safer.
When Georgia enacted this law, 11% of their crashes were decreased in the first 6 months, and less crashes means lower insurance rates.
A new poll shows Democratic candidates beating President Trump. At the top, former Vice President Joe Biden 13 points ahead. The two attacked each other while campaigning in Iowa yesterday. Ed O'Keefe is in Des Moines.
Well, that Quinnipiac poll suggests that Biden would beat the president in a landslide. His advantage over fellow Democrats has narrowed since a similar survey in April. And Iowa Democrats love the fact that they have so many options. But other people in that line suggested maybe there are too many Democrats running, and it's time for some of them to drop out.
Police are busy investigating after a violent night across Charlotte. In the span of an hour, officers responded to 6 shootings in 3 separate scenes. At least 1 person died, several others injured. Former Daily Show host Jon Stewart blasted Congress for allowing a fund to help pay for 9/11 first responders' health care to run short of money. Stewart was joined by dozens of police, firefighters, and supporters in an address to Congress. He criticized lawmakers for not showing up to the hearing. Nancy Cordes reports that Congress is set to vote on the measure.
There is a lot of reason for optimism for these first responders because there's a lot of bipartisan support this time around, even from fiscal conservatives who had balked at the price tag in the past. So it looks like a measure will pass at some point.
Carolina Beach town manager Lucky Nairn was fired during Tuesday night's town council meeting. The council emerged after a closed session. The vote was 4-1. You're listening to NCN News.
Being a Farm Bureau insurance agent means being local. It means insuring your child's first car and standing beside you after a storm. It's more than a business to us. It's a friendship. So call an agent who calls North Carolina home. Because when you need us, we're there. In every county, every day. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
There are millions of unused and leftover opioid pills in North Carolina alone, enough to stretch from the mountains to the coast. These powerful prescription pills are contributing to an epidemic that takes 5 lives every day. But there is something more powerful than opioids. All of us. We can take back our extra pills and ask our healthcare providers about alternatives for pain. Together, we can take back our communities. Learn how you can help end the epidemic at morepowerfulnc.org.
North Carolina legislation designed to address recent decisions by some new North Carolina sheriffs to stop assisting federal immigration agents is resurfacing in a committee. The State Judiciary Committee scheduled debate today on a House bill that passed that chamber in April. A surfer who was the latest to suffer injuries from a shark bite in the waters of North Carolina's coast was released Tuesday from a Willington hospital, one day after a shark took hold of his foot in the waters off Ocean Isle Beach. Before going into surgery, Austin Reed told ABC News,
I was just talking to my friend, and it was all very sudden. I felt like its teeth just kind of go up and just grab onto my leg.
Prosecutors say that the blood of missing Connecticut mother Jennifer Dulos was found mixed with her estranged husband's DNA inside of her home. Fotis Dulos is now out on a $500,000 bond. Jerika Duncan has that.
Defense attorney Norm Pattis said in court Tuesday the case against his client Fotis Dulos is built on speculation and hysteria.
As yet, there is no charge of murder. I doubt there can be one based on the evidence that I'm aware of.
Dulos Doulos and his girlfriend, Michelle Troconis, are charged with tampering with evidence and hindering the prosecution in relation to the disappearance of Jennifer Doulos. Doulos posted $500,000 bond and walked free.
Your children probably agree everything's better with frosting on
How
it.
do you get kids to eat their greens?
Introducing Kraft Salad Frosting.
Kraft has repackaged ranch dressing in a tube with confetti decorations to trick them into thinking it's something you put on cupcakes.
Ingredients, Kraft ranch dressing, and deception.
The fine print shows 2 tablespoons of ranch has fewer calories, but more than twice the amount of fat and more than 3 times more sodium than Betty Crocker vanilla frosting. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Mike Rayleigh, NCN News.
We have cooler temperatures in place for today. Look for those highs in the mid-70s by the afternoon. Showers will work their way in from the south early, then lift to the north as we get into this afternoon. Temperatures will fall into the low to mid-60s for tonight with a break from the rain. Tomorrow, we're likely to see more rain chances build in as we go through the afternoon. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Right now, here in the Sand Hills area, we're looking at cloudy skies, 64 degrees, humidity 70%, dew point at a nice 54, pressure is 30-12, winds northeast at 5, visibility at 10 statute miles. It's 8:13. Let's take a look at our Sand Hills news for this Wednesday hump day. The late Peggy Kurt Bell earned golf's highest honor as she was inducted into the World Hall of Fame on Monday at the 2019 luncheon ceremony. Retief Goosen, Bill Payne, Jan Stevenson, Denise Walters were also inducted at the ceremony, which took place at the Sunset Center in Carmel by the Sea in California. At one time, Pine Needles Lodge and Golf Club, located in Southern Pines, was owned by the Bell family, one of the founding members of the LPGA. Miss Bell was a longtime advocate for women's golf in Southern Pines, and until her death in 2016 at the age of 95. The Pinehurst Village Council voted 3-1 yesterday afternoon to approve a site plan for a new $38 million elementary school. The existing Pinehurst Elementary, which is too small to accommodate its increasing enrollment, will be torn down and replaced with a modern campus. Site plan approval is one of the last remaining steps required in what has been a long process, which also involved review by the Historic Preservation Commission and the Board of Adjustments. Village officials lobbied the school system to keep the campus in Pinehurst, but building a larger school that can accommodate 800 students posed challenges in designing a campus that could fit on the 13-acre site at Dundee and Kelly Roads, according to John Barath, Executive Officer for Operations for the school system. He said it is the smallest site of 4 new elementary schools being built. That has required some accommodations by the village on some of its regulations, such as allowing slightly more land to be covered by impervious surfaces, such as buildings, parking lots, sidewalks, which the Board of Adjustments granted last Thursday. That's your latest Sand Hills news this morning, but stand by. Here comes your latest in sports right here, right now, on Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM. WEEB is 816.
NCN Sports, I'm Josh Zach. The Panthers are placing an emphasis on Cam Newton's throwing mechanics as the quarterback continues his recovery from arthroscopic surgery on his right shoulder. Newton had done some light throwing before, but yesterday is the first day that he really threw some balls in front of reporters since undergoing surgery in January. Also on the field for the first time, at least as a Panther, is new defensive tackle Gerald McCoy. The longtime Tampa Bay Buccaneer admitted he was a little rusty, having not gone through workouts since January, but he said he was certainly impressed by his new teammates, specifically their speed.
Got some young guys that can really bend, and I'm excited to see what we can do, man. What we did great today, technique stuff, all that to come. Everything's new, but what we did great today, that's going to help us in the long run is communicate. Guys just talking. They don't care if the got a philosophy, like, who cares if the offense knows what's coming? They still got to stop it.
In France, the U.S. women's soccer team scored the most goals ever at a World Cup in a 13-0 rout of Thailand.
He'd sent it in low. It's loose. And there's one for the U.S. It's 3-0 Haran.
Alex Morgan tied a World Cup record.
Pushing it forward. Knocked ahead. Morgan. Shot. Goal. Come on. 5 for Morgan.
Samantha Mewis and Rose Lavelle each scored a pair, and newbie Lindsey Horan also found the back of the net. All that despite female players still getting paid a fraction of what male soccer players make. The NBA says Toronto's Marc Gasol should have been given 2 free throws with 49 seconds left in Game 5 of the NBA Finals at Toronto, a game that the Raptors lost to the Warriors by just a point. Gasol was fouled by DeMarcus Cousins on a drive. The acknowledgement came in the league's last 2-minute report that was issued yesterday. This is NCN Sports.
At AT&T, we believe that access to affordable home internet brings you incredible opportunities. You can enjoy the power to explore a digital world of possibilities and connect with family, friends, and the things that matter most. That's why there's access from AT&T. If a member of your household is a SNAP participant, you may qualify for home internet at a discounted rate of $10 a month or less. No commitment, no deposit, no installation fee. Plus, get an in-home Wi-Fi gateway included at no extra cost. Call 1-855-220-5211 or visit att.com/access now to learn more.
SNAP refers to the Federal Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Pricing excludes taxes and fees. Includes 1 terabyte of data per month. Data overage charges apply. For details about data allowance, go to att.com/internet-usage. Geographic and service restrictions apply.
Police in the Dominican Republic say they've arrested a second man who's believed to be involved in the Sunday ambush shooting of Red Sox legend David Ortiz. Meanwhile, Big Papi is stepping toward recovery. He took his first steps yesterday on his own after undergoing a second surgery in Boston. O.J. Simpson says his life has entered a phase that he calls the no negative zone. In an interview with the Associated Press, Simpson said he's healthy and happy living in Las Vegas. He says neither he nor his children want to reflect and talk about June 12, 1994. That's 25 years ago today, when his ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend Ron Goldman were killed. That event quickly transformed the public's perspective of Simpson from revered NFL Hall of Famer to murder suspect. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
At Mamma Mia's Italian restaurant in Seven Lakes, a warm ambiance, mouth-watering cuisine, and polished service culminate in an Italian dining experience like no other. For dinner, be prepared for a feast with scrumptious choices like barramundi Asian sea bass served on a bed of pasta with tomato, lemon, and caper sauce. Or try our pizzaiola, made with your choice of chicken or veal, cooked in white wine, tomato sauce, and capers, covered in melting cheese, and served on a bed of pasta. All served with our hot and buttery garlic knots. We're located at 4243 in the Seven Lakes Plaza off Highway 211, or call 910-673-6900 for reservations. Make your way into Mamma Mia's Italian restaurant and see what everyone in Seven Lakes is talking about.
Neck, shoulder, or back pain can be downright debilitating. If you have those issues, you already know that, and you don't need me to tell you about the opioid crisis. There's another, better way. I'm talking about chiropractic, a healing art that's also science. Dr. Sharon Wright of Wright Chiropractic in Seven Lakes invites you to come in for a discussion about how chiropractic works and could work for you. To be sure, there are many of you out there that have reached the proverbial dead end trying to treat and manage your pain.
This is Dr. Wright. I can't guarantee I can fix every problem, but I will tell you honestly whether chiropractic can be of help for your particular issue. Living with pain is not always the only option. Doesn't it make sense to explore every avenue before resigning yourself to the limitations of pain? Call our office today to schedule a consultation and start living again. 673-2225.
Hello, I'm John Zumwalt, and you're in the Zumwalt Zone. I've got a 5-month-old German Shepherd puppy. He's like a character out of a Disney movie, just not old Yeller. When he runs around in the yard, he chases butterflies and birds and squirrels. He hasn't learned how he's supposed to act yet because he's still a puppy. He looks exactly like a full-grown shepherd, but he's still real small and cute. Colt has a little area in my bedroom where he sleeps at night. It's a dog bed on the floor. He likes to drag stuff into his little area and hide things under the padded area where he sleeps. There are things he knows good and well are off limits. For example, he knows any of my shoes or boots are not supposed to be touched by him. It's not like he's uncertain. He knows. Well, at least a couple of times a week I'll walk in and he'll be chewing on the same old raggedy pair of tennis shoes he gets out of my closet. The minute I walk in, he, with the shoe still in his mouth, looks at me like, uh-oh, I wonder if he'll catch on this time. All I have to say is, Colt, where did you get those? He immediately slinks down, and it's obvious he knows he's been busted. That's one of the things I love about Colt. He can admit when he's wrong. In fact, he doesn't have the ability to not admit when he's wrong. I hope he doesn't outgrow that like people do. Have a good day from the Zoom Walton Zone.
We have cooler temperatures on tap for today. Highs getting into the mid-70s. We're likely to stay socked under the clouds with showers working their way in from the south, lifting to the north by this afternoon. Temperatures for tonight will fall into the mid-60s, and we'll get a break from the rain then. More rain showers will be possible for the first half of the day on Thursday. Highs will be warmer, though, in the mid-80s by the afternoon. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
And now, the Sandhills' #1 morning show. Mornings with the Leader Man. Here on Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. And heard and seen around the world at talk973.com.
The best part of waking up is waking up with us.
Today's show is brought to you by Way Back Wednesday. Remember when you would listen to the radio all day long with your boombox just to record your favorite song of all time? Now you can download it onto your smartphone wearing your earbuds while drinking your smoothie, then vaping while you're getting another tattoo and posting a selfie on Instagram. I'm kind of really missing the 80s right now. Do you know what day it is?
Please tell me. Please tell me.
Today's Wednesday.
What you gonna do?
Wednesday.
What you gonna do?
Wednesday. What you gonna do?
Wednesday.
What you gonna do?
Wednesday?
Oh, is that today? I wasn't really thinking about it.
Really? What would you call it?
You really don't know.
You really don't know.
Enlighten us, please.
Enlighten me.
It's showtime, baby.
Good morning, Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. Welcome back to the most listened to program in all of the Sandhills. It's time once again for Mornings with the Leader Man. I am Steve Leader Adams, along with retired Marine Colonel Jeff Drummond. Good morning, Colonel. Wait a minute, I got to touch your mic on. Go ahead.
All right. Morning, Moore County. John made it here. He's a little out of breath from that hike from the parking lot. But he's here with some information for you, so listen up.
All right, don't forget this program being heard and seen around the world on a live video stream. That's available to you right now at talk973.com. Top middle of the page is where that link's located. If you're on your mobile device, YouTube will do the work. Put Mornings with the Leader Man into the search. If you're on your mobile device just needing audio, we suggest many streaming apps such as TuneIn, iTunes, StreamOff. They're all free and available at your app store. Hey, whichever you choose, just put WEEB in the search to get the results to the top. And if you're on a website, that icon in the upper right-hand corner of every one of our web pages at talk973.com. Click on that and you're listening that quick. Weather for us today here in the Sandhills area is going to be mostly cloudy, some showers, high of 72. Tonight, mostly cloudy, more showers, 65 for a low. Thursday, partly cloudy, maybe an isolated shower, but not likely. Look for a high of 83. Friday, sunny, 79. Saturday, mostly sunny and 84. And Sunday, Monday, the muggies return. 2 points into 70s and highs of 90. Right now around the Sandhills, winds are northeast at 5, visibility 10 statute miles. Pressure is 3012, dew point 54. Humidity at 70%. It's cloudy, 64 degrees currently here at Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. All right, it is 8:26, 26 past the hour on this Wednesday. And Wednesday means the extended Zoom Alt Zone is here this morning. Good morning, Don.
Good morning. Good morning, Jeff. How you doing?
All right.
Good. All right, well, I'm going to get a little sidetracked this morning because the pathetic pilot has got me pretty riled up. You know, it's bad enough that WEEB is the only media outlet that has given you the facts without having the only local pathetic newspaper trying to distort the facts, or rather I should say just not print the facts and then print editorials demeaning us for trying to get the truth out there. They would have you believe that everything we're doing is about stopping redistricting, and that's not the case. This all came out because of incompetence on the part of John Barath, the operations guy for the schools, and our superintendent, Bob Grimacy. Now, when we started looking into this, we found three main issues. And it was just like a thread. We pulled on it, and it just kept unraveling, and the incompetence, and frankly, what I believe to be blatant dishonesty came out. First, it was the bid bond. And then it was the business with SFLA that you've heard Steve and myself and Jeff talk about. And now it's the new school being built on a former pesticide, near the former pesticide dump site. The pilot this morning said this, and I'm going to read it to you. That way you don't have to go buy the thing. It said that we will stop at nothing. They're talking about us. Lies, head fakes, innuendo, masquerading as concern. Masquerading as concern. We're not concerned about these things, according to them. It says their latest attempt is to smear the entire community of Aberdeen and as many town, county, and school leaders as they can taint with their brush of tarred quotation truths. We're smearing the town of Aberdeen, pathetic pilot. We're smearing county officials. We're doing no such thing. And shame on you for saying such a terrible thing, but that's nothing compared to what they said later. Now, tell me how this is answering our facts. If someone explain this to me. The pilot says half-truths. Tell me a half-truth, pilot. Give me a half-truth that we have uttered. Tell me one. Let's get in the same room and talk about this with an audience. Let's get in the same room and have a hearing, which is what we've wanted for a long time. You present your facts. We'll present our facts. We'll come in there with documentation. You do the same, and we'll see who comes out on top. It says, and conjectures have no place in serious matters. Those who spread such and believe, rather, let me start over, those who spread and believe such, and they're calling us this, they say we're weak, narrow-minded, and in serious need of a bolt of light shone upon them. For you little office couch guys to call us weak is laughable. It also says trying to read the part. Okay, here we go. They say we're dishonest, disingenuous, distorted attempts to scare people to our side. Such tactics are little more than the work of a cockroach, which skitters freely, spreading germs until cast in light, and then it dashes for the cover of darkness. How ironic that you're worried about germs when we're trying to stop a school from being built near a pesticide dump. The last paragraph in their little pathetic editorial with no facts, just name-calling, says, the new Aberdeen Elementary School is a thing of beauty. Even at 42% complete, it'll be a work of pride. Well, you know what? It may be beautiful. It might be gorgeous, but you still don't build it near a dump site. And that is, we can talk about that. We can argue facts all day long. You'll never come out ahead when you argue facts. Pathetic pilot. You know what? You're even more pathetic, and I have more contempt for you than I ever have. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is not about one issue. We haven't hardly mentioned redistricting when we talk about bid bond, the fact that they owe us $1.5 million, when we talk about SFLA, and when we talk about a school being built near a pesticide dump. I'm going to issue a challenge, and I'm not just doing this for fun. I want the schools, and that means Barath and Grimacy. I want the pilot, and I'd like for us to all gather in one room. Have a town hall meeting. Let's all present our case. Let the public listen, and Steve will put it, make sure that it gets out live. Or if you don't trust us, have someone else do it. You can have any moderator that you want, and let's just see who the public believes when we are able to present facts and not just call each other, or rather you call us cockroaches, and tell us that we're the irony of you sitting there on your little couch calling us weak just makes me sick. All right. I hope you'll get a pen and paper. I hope you'll get a pen and paper for a couple of reasons. First, there's going to be a cast of characters that I would like for you to keep straight. And second, I'm going to give you my email address a couple of times because I'd like you to email me. And if you have questions or you want some documentation about a certain point, I'll email it and I'll send it to you. And I can promise you this, that no matter what you say to me, I'm not going to email you back and say you're a cockroach and that because you disagree with me that you're stupid. We just got it's very, very germane to this, all of what I'm about to say, to tell you that what you already know, that we just got our new tax information, and we know that our taxes are going to be going up, and that the school board is not happy about it. Schools are not happy about it. Ed Dennison made a very good point. Ed Dennison said that a lot of this blame is because of our state, and he's exactly right. I think you know that if you've listened to me for very long, you know that I blame the state for a couple of years now. I've pointed out the tier system, the fact that they give us unfunded mandates that our school board and our county commissioners have to pay for. A great deal of this is because of the state, and it's not. It should be taken care of at the state level. I agree with that, but Grimacy, don't pretend that it's all because of the state, and not because of your mismanagement. We have known for a long time about the shortages in state funding. Now, all of a sudden, every year, it's like a big, gigantic surprise, and oh my gosh, we're short again. What happened? I'm going to tell you in just a minute exactly what happened. But there has already been a campaign started by the Bob Mob, the same exact people that get everyone stirred up every year to march before the county commissioners, to write letters to the pilot, to get on Facebook and to start talking about how the commissioners, how could they be so heartless, urge them to give us this money, we need this money for schools, and on and on and on. We've got to start spending our money wisely. Now, before you get angry with me, listen to what I'm about to tell you. And remember, this is on every subject is its own subject. This is not about redistricting, and the pathetic, pitiful pilot is using that as deflection. Don't fall for it, please. All right, my email address is very simple. It's zoomwaltzone@gmail.com. Not the zoomwaltzone@gmail.com, but rather zoomwaltzone@gmail.com. And I hope that you'll email me with comments. I hope you'll email me with questions. I hope you'll email me saying, I heard you say this about the schools. Can you send me your documentation? And I will. Now, please don't ask me for just one big, gigantic lump sum of documents, because I've got a whole bunch of them. And that reminds me, Jeff has mentioned several times that I have FOIA'd the schools. It's a joke. FOIAing the schools is a joke. They send you what they want you to have, and sometimes they make a mistake and send you a document or two more than they probably wish they had. But they are a joke when it comes to FOIA. You cannot convince me that they have sent me every single piece of information between John Barath and SFLA when it comes to these schools. No, I don't believe it, not for 1 second. We need an investigation. Keep that in mind while I'm talking. I'm hoping that this morning you're going to take this personal. I hope you'll take it very personal. I hope you'll forget all the spin. Or no, don't forget it. Take that into consideration that the pilot has written, and just listen to the facts and make up your own mind. I have read so many documents and watched so many hours and hours of meeting video that I'm just about burned out. Now watch. The pathetic pilot is going to write, Zumwalt even admits he's burned out. That's not what I said, you idiots over there. I said I'm just about burned out because I'm watching this video. It's a figure of speech. I know you'll write it as some kind of a psychological fact and try to get me some help. All right, my goal is for you, the listener, to understand that what I'm about to talk about is about money, but it's not about cutting teacher pay or supplies or quality school buildings. It's just the opposite. It's about getting our tax money put to the best possible use for our schools and understanding why it's not being put to the best use right now. And I hope you get angry. I know that some of you are such believers in the names of Superintendent Grimacy and his comical sidekick, John Barath, that nothing will sway you. And for the rest of you, just evaluate for yourselves, because some of you are out there taking notes right now in order to tear this whole thing down. Just keep it factual. That's all I ask for. And it is a fact that John Barath is a comical sidekick. All right. We know that more counties reassessing our property value. That's part of life. There's nothing we can do about it. We also know there's going to be an increase in our tax rates. That's going to happen. But you know what? Part of that is your fault. Part of that is because you voted to approve a $103 million bond to help build our schools. Okay, if you did that and you wanted to have your taxes raised, that is perfectly fine. There's no problem with that. If that's what you wanted to do, that's okay. Now we're bearing the price of it. Remember, a bond is always about tax money. And we're going to talk more about that bond in a minute. We also voted to give a 1/4-cent sales tax increase, and that raised our revenue in Moore County from $2.5 to $3.1 million a year. We're not sure, but let's just say somewhere in the neighborhood of $2.5 to $3 million more money that we voted for a 1/4-cent sales tax for our schools. And this is all in addition to the regular budget, and yet, none of this is ever enough. Do other school districts fight this fight every single year? Every time I read in the paper over the last year or two that we've somehow or another gotten more revenue, I think, well, good. Now we're done. We don't have to worry about this anymore. But yet, here we go. There'll be a parade of parents stirred up by the mob. They'll be marching before the county commissioners, the county commissioners, who I do not blame for this. The county commissioners, okay, we need to understand. Pardon me if I'm not talking down to you, but some people really don't know this, and it's important. The school board is elected. They are an elected body. They are a body unto themselves. The county commissioners are elected. They are a body unto themselves. The county commissioners cannot tell the school board what to do. However, the school board has no money. They get their money from the state, from the federal government, but primarily from the county. The county commissioners have to give them money based upon how much money they have and what the school board asks for, and then the county commissioners have to try their very best to make decisions. The county, right now, 49.1% of county budget goes to schools. That's almost 50%. What do you want, schools? 49.1%. Now, this is about managing money. Again, other school districts don't fight this fight every year, but our superintendent has learned. He's learned a great lesson. He's learned that he can write up any budget he wants, order anything he wants, build the most grand Taj Mahal schools he wants, waste all the money he wants doing surveys and different things. And, we've got to talk about that sometime, but today's not the day, all the money. And then all he has to do is go to the commissioners and make his case. And when he does make his case, if the commissioners while the commissioners are trying to decide on this, what do we give him, what do we not give him, where do we make our cuts, he has all the parents, the Bob mob, get stirred up, march by and say, this is not fair, we need more nurses, which we do. We need more of this or that. And they're all sincere and they're all good people and they all mean well, but they're going after the wrong people. Instead of going after the people who are trying to spend your money wisely, go after the people who are wasting your money. And that's what I want to see happen. If the pathetic, pitiful pilot would print the truth and tell you what's going on, you would already know all this. but they are nothing but stenographers for the school board and for anyone else who wants them to write something. They will never, ever, apparently, print all the facts. And then they have the nerve to accuse us of printing half-truths or talking about half-truths. It really galls me. It really galls me when I hear some pious, well-off person, usually a professional, who's living in a very nice neighborhood and making a lot of money, tell the county commissioners, raise their hand and say, raise my taxes. I would like to pay for better schools. Well, good for you. Good for you. But you know what? Don't raise mine until you show me that you're spending the money in the right place. The people that we talk to on this radio station are good, hardworking people who need the money they make and deserve to keep the money they make. Now, I know what you're saying. You're saying, well, you hate children. You don't care about kids. Well, just keep listening. And by the way, my email address, zoomwaltzone@gmail.com. What about people, you pious pontificators who want to have your taxes raised? What about the good people of this county who don't make a lot of money? What about the retired people? What about the people who've just not been as fortunate as you, or maybe they haven't taken care of their lives as well as you have? And there are people who haven't. Maybe there are people who haven't planned as well as you have. Maybe some of them weren't able or not smart enough, or like myself, I would never have been able to go through medical school.
Or maybe there are people who love what they do that they don't make a lot of money at.
Yeah, maybe
and they're happy what they're doing, and they can't afford what the school board and what these tax raises are going to do to them. But they love what they're doing.
They like what they're doing, so they stick with it. I stated I could never have made it through medical school. I have no illusions of grandeur or anything like that. But I did what I wanted to do, and I've done okay. But there are people who cannot afford. I have seen people, I remember distinctly, and I always mention this, I've seen an old couple in the grocery store where I was, and they actually literally had a can of green beans in their hand, and I stood beside them trying to eavesdrop, and I did, and these were old people. And they were talking about, could they get this extra 1 or 2 cans of green beans? Do you understand, school board, school officials, there are people out there who hurt when they get a $10 less, whether it's a year, a month, a day, whatever it might be. And when you stand up there and say, well, it's only $100 a year, that is a lot of money to a lot of people. Just because you can pull it out of your wallet or your purse and it doesn't hurt you, it does hurt a lot of people. And I'm extremely proud of most of our commissioners because they realize that and they try to keep these prices down. But it's very hard for them to do when you keep parading up there, school board, and telling them why you need more money. I've got to get on with this because I've got a lot to cover. All right. Now, we know that we got to pay taxes. And all of us understand that. Only the most nutcase in our society don't think we should ever pay any taxes. We've got police and fire and EMS and roads to maintain. And yes, we've got to give our kids the best education that we possibly can. It's never, ever, ever a popular stance to take on the schools. Never. And that's why we're having so much trouble here getting this message out. There are cries, always cries of, well, you don't care about the kids. You hate children. You don't care about education. Your children are grown, on and on. Well, let me turn that right back on you, Grimacy. And as far as that goes, your comical sidekick, John Barath, I say you don't care about the kids. And I'll let the facts speak for themselves by looking at the way that you, Barath and Grimacy, waste education money and then try to blame it on the county commissioners and then get the parents all shook up. Let me tell you what's happening. Okay. You've heard this before if you've listened to this station at all. You probably heard Jeff talking about it this morning on his WEEB. This is kind of where I want you to take notes. The first character in this story is an architecture firm. The name of the firm is SFLA. SFLA is headed by a man named Robbie Ferris. Now remember those two names. I think Jeff told you the same thing this morning. Remember those two names, SFLA, the architect firm, and Ronnie Ferris, the SFLA CEO. They have a lot to do with what you need to know. Let me give you a little background. It's going to be repeat background. SFLA is being investigated by law enforcement in South Carolina right now. The company is being accused of influencing the way that contracts were awarded to schools in Horry County. Now, here's the accusation. The accusation is that Robbie Ferris had conversations with the man in charge of contracting for these schools. These conversations were intended to make dead certain that SFLA got the millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of contracts for this school. Now, I'm going to stop here a minute and tell you this. This has nothing to do with redistricting. This has nothing to do with false accusations. This has nothing to do with half-truths, innuendos, lies, or being a cockroach. These are all factual. This is all factual information that we can document 100%. Now, again, my email is zoomwaltzone@gmail.com. Email me with questions, angry remarks, anything you want to say, and I'll email you back. Okay. Now, remember, Robbie Ferris is being accused of swinging millions of dollars worth of business to
investigated. He's being investigated for doing that.
Yeah. He's being investigated by law enforcement. They're not going to do that because of half-truths and lies and innuendos. I have read the information, the emails and things implicating him. There is rock solid evidence that he has done this. In fact, he has done it. All right. The man who was working for the schools at that time, who was communicating with Robbie Ferris, was a man named Matt Dean. Remember that name too, Matt Dean. There are all kind of emails that indicate Robbie Ferris was encouraging Matt Dean months before this thing ever went out for any type of bid to allow SFLA to build those schools for millions and millions of dollars. Those schools that Matt Dean represented in South Carolina. In other words, while Matt Dean was supposed to be doing his best to look out for the interests of citizens of the school system he represented, instead he was working to get SFLA the contract. Never mind the cost. Never mind the cost. In fact, in one of the emails, they actually use the word sole source, and then they talk about, well, we probably need to put it out for bid so it'll look a little better. Now, why would you care about SFLA? Why do you care about Robbie Ferris? Why would you ever care about Matt Dean, the guy who was working for the schools there? Well, let me explain. Before law enforcement began their investigation, Matt Dean, the guy that was involved in all this, had the same job in South Carolina as John Barath has in Moore County. John Barath has the Moore County Schools. He's the executive officer for operations. He's the guy who deals with all the contractors. The same job Matt Dean, who's the guy who is accused of being a crook and dealing with SFLA, John Barath has his job here in Moore County. All right. SFLA, the same company that is accused of being crooked and being investigated for that, gets almost all of our contracts for building. You hear that, pathetic pilot? How about printing some of this stuff? It appears that John Barath is, in fact, no, it doesn't appear. He's the one who guides this and is responsible for SFLA getting all our work. Now, before John Barath came to work for Moore County Schools, where do you think he worked? He was a principal at SFLA. A principal is a very high-ranking person within that organization. John Barath was a principal at SFLA. He comes here, he's representing us all of a sudden in dealing with these different firms, and who starts doing all of our work all of a sudden? The same exact company that was accused of using illegal means to influence getting work at the other school in Horry County. Okay.
Horry County, yeah. Horry County, South Carolina.
Exactly. So now we have a company that gets all our high-dollar contracts. That company, SFLA, has a history, not a 25-year-ago history, a right-now history that indicates they're willing to use school employees to get work, millions of dollars worth of work. And in the case of Moore County, we are talking about millions of dollars of our work that they are doing right now. In addition to all the other work that Moore County's given to SFLA, How did they get selected to be our architect firm of choice for building our new schools? Well, according to John Barath, and you hear this on our radio station several times a week, more counties sent out a request to see what firms might be interested in performing the work. 14 firms answered that request. Out of the 14, 6 were selected to interview. And out of the 6, all were interviewed in one day. And out of those 6 that were interviewed in one day, they selected for this multi-million-dollar job, SFLA. I'll be doggone. And who do you think the committee was led by? I'm not going to list all the people on the committee. I don't believe for one second the committee people were involved in any kind of crookedness or untoward anything. I think that John Barath used his influence, and they purposely put people on the committee who wouldn't argue or even know to argue about this. I think that he led the committee. I think there's something going on here. I think it needs to be investigated. I think John Barath is doing something he shouldn't be doing. I don't know what his motive is, but I do believe he needs to be investigated and probably suspended until while the investigation is going on. The pilot kind of glossed over this, but the school board put a new guy, I can't think of his name, Dr. Dale Bowie. And I know him, not well, but I know him, and he's a good man, but he's got no qualifications for this. They put him in as the either beside, right under, or right over. It's difficult to understand from the way the article was written. But he works now with John Barath, and I suspect it's to insulate him, John Barath, from SFLA. That alone tells me that the school board has to recognize there's something going on. If they are investigating this, they need to tell us, because there is some shenanigans going on, and shenanigans is not a strong enough word. All right.
One comment. Yep. That individual dean from Horry County School Administration, the way I read the article, that individual has resigned and crawled off like a cockroach as soon as the investigation, or just prior to that investigation starting.
He has, and it's worse than that. The guy who replaced him did the same thing, and he's gone.
Right.
So, all right, let's pretend it's all right for John Barath to lead these guys for John Barath to allow his former company to come in and do these things. It's not all right. Let's just pretend it was. What is SFLA doing? What is FLA doing to get work for all these schools? First, I got to tell you this because I'm going to run out of time. Do you remember when I talked about 20 minutes ago, that $103 million bond that you voted for to build these new schools? Did you ever wonder who financed that campaign to get that bond to pass? Well, SFLA donated $1,000 to it. Why wouldn't they? They were guaranteed millions of dollars if it passed, which it did. Did you hear me? We had a $103 million local bond campaign. SFLA had no more business being involved in that than the man in the moon, and yet they donated $1,000. I've got a list of all the contributors, and most of them are good people who thought that was the right thing to do, and again, I have no problem with that. But I do have a problem with SFLA coming in and giving $1,000 when they were guaranteed to make millions off of it if it passed. Okay. There's more about SFLA and bonds, but I don't have time to go into it right now. All right. Why are we paying for SFLA? Why are we paying them millions of dollars to design a new plan for every single elementary school? Why aren't they just designing one plan and we just lay it over the other schools? Why do we have to get them to come in and design a brand new plan? Why are these schools, okay, let me just say this. You want an example why I'm saying enough is enough? You want an example of why I'm saying that quit wasting our money, Barath and Grimacy? In 2009, West Pine Elementary School was built for $8.2 million. The new Pinehurst Elementary School is being built on the same land, so we have the land. It's, I'll just say it's twice as big. 2009, it was built for $8.2 million. This one's going to cost $38 million $81,181.79. I don't know where they got the 79 cents from, just to throw us off, I guess. So we went from $8.2 million to $38 million.
In 10 years.
In 10 years, and don't scream inflation to me. Don't scream time is of the essence. I'm not buying it. If that were true, all of our houses would be worth millions of dollars, by the way that they figure. And it explains why Barath and Groensey love to yell, hey, time is of the essence. Inflation's killing us. We have to hurry. Building costs are going up. No. Not from $8.2 million to $38 million, same land. And I don't care if the school building's double size or not. All right. I've got 1 minute, and I'm going to use it by saying this. You're going to hear a lot about people coming forward, good people, demanding of the county commissioners that they give more money to the schools. I say commissioners don't give them a nickel until they can explain how they're using this money. I'd like to see an investigation. Pathetic pilot, how about getting on board? How about getting on board instead of spending all your time trying to protect your advertisers and the different people that are your buddies that you go drink tea with? I say that we need to have an investigation, get this straight once and for all. We've got 3 separate issues. I haven't even adequately covered one of them here this morning, but believe me, this is not going away. We're not going to, and we are calling for light to be shown on this so the true cockroaches can go scrambling and try to explain their way out of this.
What's your schedule like the rest of the week?
Well, I'm helping my daughter move, Steve, so I'm pretty tied up, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
I'd like to have you back because we just scratched the surface, and we need to dig deeper on some of these things to get it exposed properly. All right, so it goes for this Wednesday. Have yourself a great, safe day. We'll see you back bright and early tomorrow, 7 to 9 for a thumping Thursday. Until then, be sure to support all the mom and pop businesses you hear on our airways because they are the backbone of our economy here in Moore County. Your money stays here, rolls over, and creates jobs. And don't forget, millions of Americans have fallen and have died to give and protect the freedoms that you get to enjoy today. Live today worthy of their and their family's sacrifice. I'm Steve Leader Adams, and the Leader Man, and Nick and Colt the Dog. We'll all see you at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Rain or shine at the dog park.